has not been identified into this video. Trust me, you will know what I mean by the end of it. Some have said that Pizzagate is a psyop. It isn't. It's a cipher. They hide secrets in plain sight. On my channel, I study literature and history to better understand current events, Bible prophecy, and the second coming of the Lord Jesus. My channel deals with some of the most difficult conspiracies in history. Pizzagate is not what it seems. The MSM has called it fake news, and the alternative media has called it a psyop. The New York Times and the Washington Post have dedicated major sections of their paper to defending Comet Ping Pong, a pizza parlor at the center of a huge controversy. In 1987, a similar scandal erupted. It involved a cult called the Finders. The New York Times and the Washington Post both published several columns exposing this cult. They did not try to defend them, as they are now doing with Comet Ping Pong. What they exposed was that the Finders were a group of elitist men, well-groomed, who wore suits and who operated a child trafficking network. The case broke open after two men were arrested in Tallahassee, Florida, with 6 children. These 2 men were in their late 20s, dressed in polished suits, but the children looked disheveled and homeless. Police quickly learned who these 2 men were connected to, the Finders. Eventually, police raided the headquarters of the Finders, located in Glover Park, northern Washington, D.C. Through investigation and interaction with the leader of the cult, named Marion Petit, D.C. police learned that the Finders lived mostly underground, that they had several businesses, homes, and warehouses under their control, and that they were closely linked to the government and had access to advanced technology. Marion Petit was allegedly a member of the U.S. military, and his wife was a former CIA agent. A U.S. Customs investigation found that the organization was deeply involved in child trafficking. This was an actual report I obtained and is available online. Agents claimed that they executed a warrant at the address of 3918 20th West Street. This address shows up on Google Maps right here, which is approximately 2.5 miles away from Comet Ping Pong. The report makes very disturbing claims about what they found during an investigation of this residence. Large quantities of children's clothing and toys and diapers were stored there. They also found detailed instructions for trafficking children for unspecified purposes. The customs document states here that there were, quote, telex messages using MCI account numbers between a computer terminal believed to be located in the same room, and others located across the country and in foreign locations. One such telex specifically ordered the purchasing of 2 children in Hong Kong to be arranged through a contact in the Chinese embassy there, unquote. This U.S. Customs investigation also states that a Chinese national was found at the Finders' residence with a passport issued from January 1987 to December of the same year. The details as described in the documents appear to implicate embassies and foreign governments in this case. The Finders case sounds literally like the textbook definition for human trafficking, nearly identical to the 2009 case involving Laura Ling and Yuna Lee. Interestingly, these journalists were arrested at the border between North Korea and China. They claimed that they were investigating human trafficking. These were the reporters shown in the Podesta files under the file name Pizza. Many believe the picture was a reference to child trafficking. The details from the agent's investigation led Washington, D.C. police to broaden their inquiry into the case. But the CIA quickly stepped in and blocked the police from proceeding. A 1993 U.S. News & World Report article documents that the local police were stripped of their authority and told that the CIA had made it an internal matter. Due to the extreme language of these 2 books, I will only show parts of what they say. Both make astonishing claims about the Finders, that they were involved in high occult satanic initiation. This book, called Hidden History, an expose of modern crime, conspiracies, and cover-ups, documents that children were trafficked all over the world, and that blood and ritual sacrifices were performed. Another book, called The Franklin Scandal, cites that the finders were involved in highly satanic rituals, child abuse, and that they had a specific interest in purchasing children, trading, and kidnapping them. There are uncanny parallels between the story of the finders and the events we see unfolding at Comet Ping Pong. The proximity of the pizzerias in this region to the headquarters of the finders, as well as the involvement of children, the allegations of satanic rituals, and other evidence could suggest that Pizzagate is merely a continuation of the 1987 case that captured the attention of millions of people across the world. Are we seeing evidence that the finders are still alive and carrying out their agenda right in the heart of the U.S. Capitol? And will Donald Trump do anything about it when he becomes president?